Okay, so today we're diving into some really powerful stuff. Words, wisdom. It's amazing how these ancient texts you brought can still feel so relevant today.
It's true. They really get to the core of how we interact and I guess what's going on inside us, too.
Right. It's like
Mhm.
they're speaking directly to us, even now. So let's jump right in.
Sounds good.
This whole idea of taming the tongue,
Mhm.
it starts off strong. Like we can control animals, but the tongue, forget about it. It's untamed.
Yeah, that's a powerful statement, isn't it? Makes you think about how hard it is to control what we say sometimes.
Totally. And then it goes on with these comparisons. A bit in a horse's mouth.
Right.
A tiny rudder steering this huge ship. It's showing us that even though the tongue is physically small, it's got this outsized power.
It really does. Like, you think about it so many times, just a few words can have these massive ripple effects, like things you don't even see coming.
Exactly. And it's not always good,
Yeah.
right? Like, think about those times you say something without thinking, and boom, it blows up in your face. Or, even worse, hurt someone you care about.
Absolutely. Like that whole leverage thing, a small input, huge output. And with the tongue, that output can be incredibly impactful.
For sure. And that leads to this crazy image, right? The tongue is fire. It's as it can set a whole forest ablaze, a world of evil, it calls it, corrupting everything, setting our whole lives on fire. It even says it's fueled by hell.
Whoa, intense imagery. Wow.
Seriously. So when you read that, what comes to mind? Like, what kind of forests can our words actually burn down?
Well, I mean, it could be anything, really. I think about relationships, trust, respect, all that. It's like a forest,
Yeah.
years of growth. But then, like, throw some harsh words in there criticism, gossip, accusations, all that. It's like wildfire, destroys everything.
It's true. I've seen it happen.
And on an even bigger scale, think about how words can divide communities, even whole countries. And then personally, like within ourselves, our own self-esteem, our peace of mind, all that can be a force too. And negative self-talk, that's the fire.
Yeah. That inner critic can be brutal.
For sure. And that part about being set on fire by hell, I mean, that really speaks to the spiritual consequences of all that negativity.
Absolutely. It's heavy stuff. But then it gets even more jarring, right? Because it talks about how we use the same tongue to praise God and then turn around and curse people. People made in God's image, no less.
It's a huge contradiction, isn't it? Like, how can both come from the same place?
Yeah. The text even says, my brothers and sisters, this should not be, it's like a wake-up call.
It is. I think a lot of us have been there. Maybe you just got done with the church service, you're feeling all spiritual, and then boom, someone cuts you off in traffic, and the worst comes out. It happens.
Oh, yeah. I've definitely been there. Road rage is real.
It is.
Yeah.
But seriously, I think it highlights this need for consistency. Like, if we really believe in God, if we truly see everyone as made in his image, then shouldn't our words reflect that all the time?
Totally.
Yeah.
And it's not just a feel-good thing, right?
Yeah.
The text backs it up with these nature analogies. A spring can't have both fresh and salt water.
Right.
A fig tree won't grow olives. It's basic nature. What we produce should match our source.
Makes sense.
So if we're all about love and faith, then our words should reflect that, not be these unpredictable, contradictory things.
And those natural examples really show that idea of inherent character. A spring's got a spring, a tree's got a tree, and we should be consistent too, especially if we're trying to live a certain way, following God.
Right. And that leads us to this next part, right? Wisdom. And the text makes it clear. True wisdom isn't just knowing stuff. It's about how you live your life. A good life, it says. Deeds done in humility. So it's linking what's inside us to what we do and say.
Exactly. It's like a roadmap, right? We talked about the problem of the untamed tongue, and now it's giving us the solution. It's this kind of wisdom that we need to cultivate. And it's not just some abstract concept. It's about how we act, how we treat others every single day.
Makes sense. And then it gets into this whole idea of earthly wisdom. And it's not pretty. Bitter envy, selfish ambition, it says. And it's clear this isn't the good stuff. It calls it earthly, unspiritual, demonic even.
Wow. Strong words.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So how do you see those things, envy and selfish ambition? How do they actually play out in our words and actions?
Well, I think when you're full of envy, it warps your view. You start being critical, saying mean things about others. It's like you can't stand their success. And then selfish ambition, that just makes you put yourself first no matter what. It comes out in how you talk, being manipulative, gossiping, putting others down. It's all about you.
Yeah, and it creates this toxic environment. That's what the text means by disorder.
Exactly. It's like a breeding ground for negativity.
And then boom, the contrast.
Yeah.
Wisdom that comes from heaven. And it lists all these amazing qualities. Pure, Peace-loving, considerate, submissive, full of mercy, good fruit, impartial, sincere.
It's quite the list.
Right. So how do you see these qualities affecting how we talk and interact with the world?
Well, each one is important, right? Pure, I think that means your words are honest, genuine, no hidden agendas. And peace-loving, that's huge. It's about building bridges, not walls. Considerate. Well, that's just basic respect, thinking before you speak. And submissive, I think that means being willing to listen, to learn from others, not just dominating the conversation.
It's about humility, right?
Yeah, totally. And then full of mercy, that's about compassion, forgiveness, good fruit. Well, that's the outcome. Your words should be positive, build people up, not tear them down. Impartial, that's fairness, treating everyone equally. And sincere, I think that just means meaning what you say.
Wow. That's a powerful picture of how we should communicate.
It is. It's about respect, love, and ultimately reflecting God in our words.
And it wraps it up by saying that earthly wisdom leads to disorder, but heavenly wisdom, that brings a harvest of righteousness, especially for those who work for peace. So it's not just about being nice, it's about creating something good in the world.
Yeah, it's about action, making a difference.
Right. And, you know, it strikes me that these two parts we've been talking about, the untamed tongue and the two kinds of wisdom, they're really connected, aren't they? Like maybe our struggle to control what we say is a sign of that inner battle between those two types of wisdom.
That's a good point. Like, if we're constantly saying things we regret, maybe it means we're leaning too much on that earthly wisdom, driven by ego, not love.
Yeah. It's like our words are a window into our hearts.
Exactly. So if we want to tame our tongue, we got to work on what's inside, cultivate that heavenly wisdom.
So to wrap up, two big takeaways. First, our words have incredible power. They can build up or destroy. And second, there's a huge difference between wisdom that's self-serving and wisdom that comes from God.
Right. We have a choice to make, and it shows in how we speak.
Absolutely. So here's something to think about. What's one area of your speech, or maybe even an inner motivation, that you could work on in light of all this? Maybe it's gossip, being too critical, or even just noticing those envious thoughts popping up. Think about it. Because every word we choose matters. It's all part of this journey of growth.